Hello out there. Hello, 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 hello. Listen, I decided, so first of all, hello, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Givehand, and I am a bookbinder, poet, printmaker, mixed media enthusiast. And I have had this channel since 2012, and I've done a lot of different things here. And this month, April 2024, I decided I wanted to do something different. And I'm calling it the ABCs of Me series. And in this series, I am chatting with you all each day for a little while about all the things that I love, many of the things I care about, and sharing with you things I'm making, projects I'm working on, which are basically the same thing, and just really musing, rambling about life as a creative, life as a spiritual creative. That part is also infused in these conversations. So welcome. If you're here for the first time, thank you for being here. If you are back for day 8 and you've been here all 8 days, welcome back and thank you for joining me. I see my husband in the chat. Hi, love. So I realized, today's the eclipse. Probably going to talk about that a little bit. But also, I realized that people might be, out doing eclipsey things. I don't know. I don't know what people do when they're, doing eclipsey things. My eclipsey things are journaling and creating. So here I am doing what I would normally be doing on any other eclipse. I'm not in the totality path, so I'm not going to get to actually experience it in a way that would be majorly significant. So yeah, so today is letter H day. What are we doing for letter H day? Let's see here. Let's get some things on the list for H. One of the things definitely top of the list, happiness. My husband and I run a program. We actually created a framework almost 10 years ago that we have been working with, testing, living, and we now teach it in my Pulp and Paint community, in our Pulp and Paint community, in the Life Alchemy Academy that Damon and I run together. So I'll probably talk a little bit about happiness here. Probably the bulk of my conversation will be around that and sharing a little bit of what we do and what we talk about. Also hardcover journals. I think, I might talk a little bit about, what else might I talk about? Maybe a little, tiny bit about herbalism. And I feel like I had a bunch of other things that I was like, yeah, I'm going to talk about all these things. But listen, y'all know how life goes, how things happen, how it all pans out and plays out. You just never know. So I'm wondering, I'm thinking, I don't know. I had some other things. So we'll see what else comes up. Happiness, hardcover journals, herbalism. I might talk about my hair journey a little bit, because that's a big part of my growth as a human being. The way in which my hair journey has been. Yeah. Oh, and the really big one, human design. I'm going to talk a good bit about human design today. Now, what am I going to make? Well, probably make a hardcover journal since we're talking about that. But I'm going to leave some space on that for other things to get added as we go. First, we're going to start with pulling a card, right? Let's do that. Let's do that. In fact, let's see if I can find a deck that is nearby and easy to grab. Oh, this is a good one. One of my faves. This little Haven Oracle deck starts with an H. Let's do it. Hi, Gelli. So just so you all know, there's a little bit of lag time on the chat versus when I see it. So I think I might have said human design, and then Gelli, you popped it in right after that. So we're gonna take that as confirmation. For that. So Haven Oracle. I love this. This is by Sarah. I don't know if I'm even pronouncing her last name right, but Tumanello. It's a really cute deck. I don't know if she still sells it. I've had it for a while. In fact, no, this one I bought. I was going to say, I think it was gifted to me. There was a different deck that's kind of small that was gifted to me. So let's pull a card as we have been doing every day. Except one day I think I forgot it. But I think I can get a pass. No, I'm giving myself a pass. How about that? I don't need a pass. I'm giving myself a pass. So let's pull from this Haven Oracle. And why don't we pull, let's see what I'm feeling called to do here. What do we need to bring our awareness to during this live call? Let's do that first and foremost. What do I need to bring my awareness to? What do we as a collective? How about that? Oh, let's do this. Since I said, what do I need to bring my awareness to? That'll be a card for me. What do those watching, replay or live, need to bring their awareness to during this session? All right, so the first one will be for me. This next one will be for everybody. You create beauty and magic with all that you do. I receive it. I love that. Yay. I like it when we get a nice, good, beautiful message like this. You create beauty and magic with all that you do. Well, thank you, universe. I received that. Hug. And then for everyone else, open up. Ooh, that's a good one because listen, I am going to talk about some esoteric things. And so if you are someone who kind of like, why is she talking about astrology and human design? Open up. Open your mind a little bit. Why don't you? Okay, so with all of that said, I'm also trying to think about how I might I'm thinking of what I can be working on or doing while we talk, while we do this, so that I'm not just sitting here rambling on and on. All right, first and foremost, let's move these out of the way. I love it when good cards come up like that and you're just like, you can't make it up. Perfect. How about I answer a couple of questions that I got via email in the last couple of days since I answered questions. Let me go to, I have a little document I've been keeping so that I don't lose track of the questions, and mostly so I don't repeat answering the same questions over and over. And I can just say, hey, person, I already answered that question on day whatever. All right. So I thought this one was super funny. This person was like, Kiala, I can't believe you forgot to talk about green smoothies and grits tour. And I heard you recently say something about watching Next Level Chef. So how did you not think to talk about Gordon Ramsay, all on letter G day? And I was like, oh yeah, well, first of all, thank you for remembering that I said I was going to talk about green smoothies, grits tour. And then, yeah, I do love Next Level Chef. And I'm a fan of Gordon Ramsay. I came to him late in the game. I have not ever watched a season of Hell's Kitchen. I tried to go back and watch the very first episode, but you know, it's like, oh, and grainy. And I was like, not sitting through this. so I didn't. Let me think first before I start yapping. What do I want to work on? Because my hands need to be doing something. You know what? I didn't put my jelly plate away yesterday, so why don't I bring my jelly plate out and work on that while we're doing this? That seems like it would be a grand idea. And I don't think I said this yesterday, but when I work on my jelly plate prints, I stand. I can't do it sitting down. It's odd and awkward and weird for me to try to do it try to do it sitting down. I wonder, does anybody else experience that? Is that anybody else's reality? Okay, so while I get this all set up, if you're not familiar with jelly plate printing, I invite you to go back to my video from yesterday. I'm going to just continue printing on these tissue paper pieces that I have that started out as it came from you know how when you buy new shoes, they stuff your shoes with this tissue papery stuff? That's what this is. That's exactly what that came from. So I am just going to use that. Continue with that. Okay, so while I'm doing this, setting up, yesterday I was working with a hard brayer. Today, let's go with one of each. I'm going to pull out a soft brayer too. It doesn't always make a difference, but sometimes, you know, little subtle things can shift and change. I'm going to bring out the same paints I was working with yesterday, because why not? Why not keep working with the same colors? No need to change it up. Okay, so all right. Green smoothies. Let's start with that while I'm doing this. So green smoothies. Okay, let me back up and say jelly plate. This one is like the 5 by 7, 6 by, I don't know. Let's see what it is. 5 by 7. The paints I'm using are Liquitex Heavy Body. These are some that I'm trying to use up because I don't really use them that often. So I'm trying to use them up. So I have a bunch of different colors. Light portrait pink, which if you know me, you know pink is not my jam really. Bronze yellow, cadmium red, light hue, Payne's gray, my favorite, red oxide, also my favorite, and cadmium yellow, medium hue. So those are the colors I'm working with. I have a soft brayer and a hard brayer. And what else? I have some paper over here to the side just for the, you know, for rolling off on. And then I'm using, I have tons of these stacks of this like natural tissue paper. So that's what I'm using. All right, just so you know what we're doing as I'm chatting and talking here. So one of the things that I didn't talk about yesterday was green smoothies. Green smoothies. And it, you know, it's funny because the last time I did a series like this one that I'm doing right now was actually about green smoothies. We were living in Atlanta. Damon, do you remember this? We were living in Atlanta and we did the green smoothie challenge with, what are those ladies' names? Something Green Smoothies. I can't remember their full name of their business or their company, but we did, and we filmed it. And so it was Damon and I every day, except for I think he had to travel for work a part of the time. So anyway, green smoothies have been a really big part of our lives since I had a health crisis, a little health scare. Oh, it's another good H word for today. I had a little health scare back in 2006-ish. I like that a lot. And it caused me, both of us really, to put the brakes on a lot of things that we were eating, to just flat out stop cold turkey. And it was a godsend for us. And one of the books that really helped us on our journey was called Green for Life by Victoria Botemko. And it is an amazing, amazing book. It was a whole journey that we took to really get ourselves, back on track. Really, it was about getting me back on track. So we did that, and it was life-changing. And so her book is all about green smoothies and how to have, how to bring that into your life for healing. And so green smoothies are a huge part have been ever since then. Green smoothies are a big part of our lives. When we are able, we usually have a green smoothie every morning. And when I say able, not traveling, not doing all the things. Yeah, that was the name of it, Damon. Thank you. Simple Green Smoothie. Simple Green Smoothies. That was the challenge that we did. So that came out kind of light, that yellow. I'm going to print over that again, but I'm going to keep going for now. I'm going to switch up my colors. The other thing I like about a Gelli plate is the fact that we can mix colors right onto the palette, right onto the plate. You don't have to mix, you can mix it off, but you can also mix it right on the plate. So yeah, green smoothies are a big part of who we are and how we move through the world. It's a big part of our teachings when we work with people. And I know lots of people have their own feelings and thoughts about smoothies and that much greens, and people, oh, that's so much fruit and diabetics and this, that, or the other. Well, I'm gonna tell you this. My mother came to live with us about 10 months when we lived in Oakland, and when she got there, she wasn't really in a good place health-wise. I'm gonna open up this little thing that I bought to be a texture plate. Not used it before. This will be its first run on the Gelli plate. Let's see what we get. And when my mother got there, she, like I said, she wasn't really in a good place. And we didn't do a lot of anything big with her. All we did was change how she eats. That's literally the only thing we did. We just started, she just started eating what we were eating. Green smoothies every morning. We were probably at that time, we were about 90% raw. I'm really digging how it's coming out when I drop it over here. That's nice. So we were about 90% raw. We were drinking our green smoothies every morning. And we just lived a very simple, peaceful kind of lifestyle. You know, I mean, we still worked and we still did all the things that people do on a given day. I'm going to let that dry a little bit and add a second color to it. But mostly, you know, we were paying attention to what we consume, what we put in our bodies. My mother lost about 55 to 65 pounds while she was there. Was able to get off 2 medications, her blood pressure medication and some other little pill she was taking for something I can't remember. With the help of doctors, we didn't just say, "Ma, stop taking your medicine." We actually, you know, went to the doctor, did the whole thing. So I'm going to let this dry off just. I'm going to let it get a little bit dry because I want to come in with another color over it. And so, yeah, so ever since then, so green smoothies have been a really big part of our lives. So yeah, there's that. I probably should not see. This is the other thing. I start rushing. I just want to keep going. I want to keep going. Okay, so while that's drying up a little bit, so yeah, that's the green smoothie story. We have tons of recipes. We have lots of, you know, we've made our own little recipes that we do. We have our go-tos, but we also love to experiment. And green smoothies have been a really big part of the health journey for us. And so it just, at this point, it just feels like I don't actually know how to move through the world without smoothies being a part of my world. What was the other thing? Oh, the g.r.i.t.s tour. So before I talk about the g.r.i.t.s tour, I actually want to say I'm sitting here doing jelly plate printing. Tiffany, who you all have heard me talk about many a time here, and will probably hear over and over again because she's one of my good friends, one of my good art pals. Yeah, I messed up my whole situation. I didn't let it dry long enough. Let's see how much of that it retains. I can already see though that I messed it up a little bit. It's okay. We can do it. We can do something similar again. So Tiffany is actually teaching a whole jelly plate printing class at Sacred Makers in June. Am I going to see some of y'all at Sacred Makers? I do hope so. Registration's still open. Yeah, I should have let that dry before I did it. Okay. Let's do this god awful pink. Let's get rid of this pink. So yes, Tiffany's going to be teaching a whole 5-hour class on jelly plate printing. One of her specialties with jelly plate printing is image transfer. So I'm sure she will be bringing some image transfer into the class for you all. And lots of other cool techniques and things that you can do with it. And I'm sure, knowing Tiffany, you all will likely end up making a book. Ooh, I like what that did right there. I'll try to get that before it goes anywhere. There are so many techniques you can do. I'm not even scratching the surface right now. I'm just keeping it basic and simple. didn't get it the best way I could have. So this is when I start, okay, this is when you have to kind of pause and assess. Here's what I noticed. Not using enough ink or paint. And for what I'm trying to do, let's switch sprayers. I might need a little more paint for what I'm trying to do. We'll see. So Tiffany, yeah, Tiffany's going to be teaching jelly plate printing. All right, so what else was the name? Oh, G.r.i.t.s tour. So that's how I got on Tiffany. Tiffany Smith and I run this retreat, just the two of us teaching, called Girls Raised in the South. We are both Southern ladies. And so I was like, Tiff, let's do a G.r.i.t.s tour. Girls Raised in the South. And she was like, I love it. Let's do it. So we've only done it a couple of times. Once in Florala, which was the sort of maiden voyage of that retreat, because I'm from Florida, she's from Florida. I'm from Florida, she's from Alabama. Florala is a little city right where Florida and Alabama touch. And so we went there and had our inaugural G.r.i.t.s tour retreat. And then we were invited to South Dakota, to the studio of Jennifer Stone, where we did our South Dakota version. And just to be clear, you never know what you're going to get with the two of us. When the two of us get together, it's going to be a wild time. That's all I can tell you. And so we may do one this year. But we both have lots of in-person things we've been doing, so we don't want to oversaturate ourselves with that. You never know. We might decide to do an online version this year. We haven't done that before, an online G.r.i.t.s tour. But it really is designed to be kind of a in-person thing. We bring sweet tea. We make sure you have sweet tea and lemonade, and we try to give you some Southern treats and all the things. So the G.r.i.t.s tour is our way of bringing our Southern energies to other places in the world. So if you are somebody that has a space that can hold at least 10 people, reach out to us. We're always looking for cool places to have the retreat. So, all right, I think it's time for me to bring out some stencils, maybe, if I have some close by. Which I thought, oh, I do. All right, so let me get a stencil out first. Okay, so that's G.r.i.t.s tour. Make sure, if you're not on my email list, try to get on there, because that's where we're gonna announce it. We always announce it there first. So so I invite you to get on that list. Speaking of Tiffany, why don't we use one of her stencils? Let's do that. Let's do that. I have a ridiculous amount of stencils. Let's just go ahead and name it. Take out 2 of Tiffany's stencils. They're right on top, so why not? Let's see what else I have in here? Oh, speaking of grits, Tor, look at that. You can't make it up. It's right there, popping out at me. Oh, this is one of my favorite little stencils here. I'm just going to bring out a few that I use a lot. Why not? So, all right. Let's talk Gordon Ramsay. It's not like I have a lot to say about Gordon Ramsay. Let's be honest. Let's be clear here. I do not have a lot to say about Gordon Ramsay other than I really love Next Level Chef. It's one of my favorite indulgences. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I like a good reality show that involves food. Let's go with Tiff's really big stencil. I love this one. I'm just going to lay it there. I'm going to pull a print. Likey. I'm going to take that stencil up, drop it down on this. Just roll over it a couple times. It's probably too dry to grab anything. And then I'm actually, why don't we roll a little bronze yellow on top of this? Just a nice thin coat of it. So yeah, Next Level Chef. I really love the competitive nature of that show. It's pretty cool, I think. Love this. Love that. Really nice. That came out nice. And you know, I'm really digging how crinkly these bits and pieces are, how these papers are, because then I'm getting these extra textures because of the wrinkles. And I'm digging that 1,000 times. That's making me very happy. Love it. And so this is the distinction for those of you who are new to jelly plate printing. The distinction here is right, like this is that first pull. This is what we call the ghost pull. Now I did add paint to the ghost pull, but you can see it's like the positive and the negative, right, that you get. And so I find that quite wonderful. All right, I'm just going to keep going. So let's bring some Payne's Gray in here. Next Level Chef. If you don't know this show, it is, oh, why don't we just run that right over there? So let me pause and say, pro tip, when you're doing mono printing, always have a surface where you can, you know, do multiple things at once. Like I'm rolling paint on here, I'm rolling it onto paper over here, I'm flipping the stencils around and rolling them out on here. Like you kind of have to be a multitasker kind of person to get the full benefits and gist of this. You know what I mean? So do all the things. That I'm letting dry way too long. Let's see if we get anything out of that. On that show, I think what I love about it is the fact that people win this like year-long mentorship with 3 different chefs. I love the challenges that they give them. Really pushes them out of their comfort zone, makes them step their game up. Shows their skill level by putting them in 3 different types of kitchens throughout the oh, that's nice, throughout the show. I'm going to go back to this one and do an overprint of that. Actually, let's just do this. Let's see if we get any paint transfer. Oh yeah, that's nice. It's very subtle, but it's enough of it. It's enough of it to give you that faint look. Digging it. Let's let that dry for a moment. I say that. Yep, I'm probably good enough. What color? Actually, you know, let's bring some white. Oh, even better. Do y'all know these color shift paints? If you don't, get you a couple. Thank me later. Oh, they're so good. They're by Folk Art, and they're just called Color Shift. And you can kind of see they do a sort of like a holographic thing. Okay, so anyway, this is the last thing I'm going to say about Next Level Chef. I think what I also love is that it brings home cooks, professional cooks or professional chefs, and social media chefs all together competing with each other. And it kind of levels the playing field in some ways by having them cook things out of their comfort zone, having them, you know, they all have to compete to get the ingredients. It's not like one gets, you know, one group gets better ingredients. It just depends on the floor they're on. Like, it's a really cool concept. And so it's one of my favorites. One of my favorite things to indulge in at the end of a long day when I am tired and I don't want to have to use any more brain particles. Just want to veg a little bit. So see how that color goes on really clear and translucent, but then it has this beautiful blue. And then if you tilt the paper a little bit, that's going to be a very purpley color. Let's see how it translates onto this tissue paper. Okay, moving on from Next Level Chef. Let's talk about H. Since this is H day, let's talk about H things. Let's start with a conversation around human design. This is a big topic. No way I'm going to cover it or do it justice in this amount of time. That is gorgeousness right there. Can you see that shifting color? How you get the hints of purple with the teal. Oh, yum-o. Yum-o. Let's put a little more on there and see if we can't pull up the last little bits of that. So human design. Where do I begin with that? Why don't I start by saying it is a system I'm thinking about how I want to start it out. Those of you who are in pulp and paint with me, you can imagine why I'm struggling here a little bit to name. Think about how I want to introduce human design here. Okay, so here's what I'll say. Human design is a tool. First and foremost, it is a tool, self-discovery. It's a tool that helps you get to know yourself better on a deeper level by showing you your energetic blueprint and also showing you the way in which you are designed to make decisions. So it's like an energetic blueprint Like think about the blueprint of a house and how you can see where all the electrical outlets are, and you can see where the circuitry runs and how the energy or electricity flows through the house. You can see all of the plumbing and all of that, right? You can see all the things. Human design is kind of like that for us as humans. Oh, that's pulling in some really interesting detail there. That's going to be fun to work with. So it shows you let's talk about how it shows you how you're supposed to make decisions, how you're designed, not how you're supposed to, how you're designed to make decisions. And most of us are living out of alignment with that. Just because of how the world works. And you notice I said most of us, not all of us, not every single person on the planet is living out of alignment, but many of us are. And notice I said us, because when I discovered human design, I painfully discovered that I have been living out of alignment in a lot of ways, making decisions out of alignment in many ways. And so it's one of the reasons I pursued a certification in human design, multiple certifications in human design, because I wanted to be able to bring that work to my clients and my students. I think, and I specialize in working with creatives in their human design. Not that I can't read for others. I've read for many, many people. I love this. This is amazingness. Gorgeous. Look at that. I love it. So simple, but so like, and I'm going to tell you, I've been stenciling for a long time. Stencils on the Gelli plate is one of the best, one of the best ways to really get that kind of level of like yumminess and detail on a stencil with all the lines really crisp and clear. Yeah. Oh, yum, 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 yum. And then I'm going to pull that ghost print here. I'm not going to roll anything over it. I'm just going to go straight for the ghost print. So based on so human design takes your birth data. You have to know your date of birth, location of birth, and time of birth to really, to be able to pull your human design chart. And let's see if I can't mix up a good little orange color on here. And so you're learning about your energetic blueprint while also learning about your decision making. I call it an internal GPS. It's like your GPS. Which way do I go? What decisions am I making for my life? I think I want to put a little more yellow on that. Once you get your chart, and my favorite place to begin to send beginners to get their chart is mybodygraph.com. They don't pay me anything. I get no money from them. They're one of the best resources. They're the resource that I prefer. All right, I'm going to take a skewer here. I think I just want to make some marks in the paint. And that's just a skewer from the kitchen that I've used many, many times for many things. And then basic. So human design was, we'll say founded. We're going to use the word founded, although I kind of like to use the word channeled sometimes as well, by Ra Uruhu in the late 80s, I think it was. He heard this voice giving him this information, and he documented it and then proceeded to begin teaching it to others. And so there are other people. Ra has since passed, but there are other people that he trained who carry it on. Some of whom have created their own additional systems based on it, their own ways of teaching and talking about it. But it is a system that is designed to help you make better decisions in your life and to help you understand your energy and the flow of your energy more fully. Let's do a g.r.i.t.s tour. It's not going to fit the whole thing, but it'll get enough. I'm not even going to try to do the whole thing. I'm just going to see what I get here. I really want the ghost print more than anything else. What's left behind. It's kind of like my wipe off paper there. What I really want is what's left there. So the first thing you're going to notice when you pull your human design chart is that you have a type. Your type tells you how your energy is designed to move and flow. And the other thing I'll say is very similar to, so human design has multiple systems embedded in it. It has the I Ching, the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. It has the Hindu chakra system embedded in it. It has astrology, a blend of Western and Eastern astrology. And of course, that's going to be backwards. I knew that. It's so funny how I forget that until I do it. It's like I know it and I forget it until I do it. I should have flipped it over the other way. I really like how the Payne's gray comes out, so I'm going to keep working with that a little bit. Just like astrology, human design is also a language of relationships. I'm going to get another piece of paper out. Here's some more paper. Let's work with that one for now. It's a language of relationships in that it shows you how your energy interacts with the energy of others. You in relationship to those around you. And that is a beautiful benefit of the system. Let me find another something or other to play with here. Now let's play with these. I bought these little texture plates that I haven't even opened them. Huh. Things you find when you look in your bin. Ooh, that's a nice one. Oh, are they double-sided? They are. These are yum. Okay, let's see if they actually do what I hope they're going to do. Oh, stop it. I love that. You can see it a little bit better now that it has some paint on it. So once you start learning about your type, I mean, it's a very complex system, okay? But not so complex that you can't learn it. But when you look at it, you might see gobbledygook. You might be like, I don't know what I'm looking at, and what does all of this mean? And um, where am I supposed to go with this? What am I supposed to do with it? What is it telling me? How do I use it? Which is why I like to teach it. In fact, I will put some information below. I'm going to be running a human design immersion, a 6-week human design immersion, very soon here. So I will put some information below for those of you, and it's very specific to creatives. It's kind of like an introduction to human design for creatives specifically. And I think everybody is creative, but I think people who self-identify and really own that label of creative, I think we come with a different. Oh, I just love that. You can't make me love this more. Creatives come with their own set of things, our own set of questions, our own set of conundrums, our own set of things we care about. And so, yeah, I want to cater to that crowd because I know that crowd. I am a part of that crowd. So, knowing that, why don't we just get that in one of each color? That feels right. So, knowing that, that's way too much paint, by the way. I already see it. So knowing that about ourselves, or me knowing that about creatives, yeah, that's the group that I primarily want to work with. Because I also know that we have a lot to offer the world when we are in alignment. When we're in alignment with our gifts and our talents and our passions, man, we really have a lot to offer the world. And so I'm going to use this. So yeah, I want to cater to those people and help those folks really get into living into their truth. And so there's that. So I'll keep y'all posted on that. All right, so more about human design. It blends all of those systems together and gives you sort of this really beautiful blueprint for how you might live your life. It shows you where some of your conditioning lives, kind of like astrology does. Shows you some of your tendencies, for better or for worse. But I think all in all, it gives you a really beautiful map to use to help you truly live into your full, whole, beautiful, amazing self. Each type in human design has sort of a specific energetic signature, we'll say. And once you understand your type, I mean, if that's all you did was really focus on your type for like a year and really live into making decisions based on your type, you would see the needle in your life move exponentially. There's a lot more to the system than just your type, but that is almost like the cornerstone, it's the foundation of that system. And so let's see if I can get anything else off this plate. So really sitting with that. Most people are impatient. They don't want to wait to really get to know themselves on that level, waiting a whole year just working on one aspect. So we do talk about the other aspects and bring those into play because they begin to add depth and layer to the system and to the work that you can do. You also have to be willing to do the work. Yes, I can read your chart for you all day long. I can tell you everything that I'm seeing there. I can break it down for you, every single part of it. I cannot do the work for you, though. I can't do the work of making decisions for you in your life. You have to be willing to do that part. You have to be willing to change something. All right, let's try a different. Ooh, that's a nice one. Let's try that. I don't know if that's going to translate very well on this, but let's find out. Sometimes the things that are the most subtle on a jelly plate are the things that print the best, if I'm being honest. Now, if I wanted even pressure, rolling my brayer over this would probably be the better way, but you see how much concern I have for that. Not a lot. So you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to, and a lot of the folks that I work with one-on-one with their charts, it's not a one and done. We end up having many calls together so that I can really truly help them dissect their charts. And so we will usually work together once every couple of weeks. We'll get together. I'll point out a new aspect in their chart or a new element, piece of information in their chart. And then I will give them soul assignment, homework to do. Because you've got to do the work. You have to do the work. Okay, that is super dry. This paint, and this is the other thing about a jelly plate. You have to learn which paints dry quickly. And you can see I barely got anything off of that. So, let's come in with, let's do another one of these. Okay, sorry, y'all. I have not been looking at the chat. Let me look at the chat. Yeah, Linda says, yes, for whenever you're printing, it's much easier to, for all kinds of printing, much easier to see what's happening, line things up. Yeah. Angelisa, hi, Angelisa says, do you keep and use that paper that you're rolling off the brayer on? Absolutely. That becomes paper for book pages. It becomes paper for collage. So yes, absolutely keep it. It's good, yummy painted papers. I do all sorts of things with that. So that color shift paint, that was another color of the color shift paint. And I just have to say, y'all, the color shift paint is slick. It's a very wet paint. So keep that in mind if you go get some. It's very wet. Very slick. Like my brayer wants to slide all across the... Oh, but look at how beautifully that printed on this. So I just rolled that extra paint onto this brayer. Onto this texture plate and just laid it down, and that's yummy. I'm really digging that. See if I can get a second pull from it. Nope, just one. But look how much paint, and there's just so much paint on there. So, okay. Color shift paints, very, very, let's see if this will work with this paint since it's such a wet paint, very wet paint. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot already. So yeah, Angelisa, to go back to your question really quickly here, I use this paper. Oh, I just keep printing over and over and over. I use it because I don't go in with any sort of plan for that paper. But at the end of a printing session, I usually have some really good, yummy stuff on. And sometimes I end up liking the papers over here more than the papers I'm actually printing. And I know I'm not alone in that. Anybody else who jelly plate prints will probably say something very similar. Human design also has a thing in it called your authority and your profile. All of these things begin to add layers to how you are meant to make decisions in your life. When we start looking at the centers of human design, which map to the chakras, the Hindu system and the chakras, we start to get information. Oh, I love how it's pulling up past layers. Yum. Again, beauty of the jelly plate, right? It holds on to some things, and then those things will serendipitously show up in other pulls, other prints. And my friends, you can't make that up when that happens. You kind of have to just allow that serendipity to show up for you. All right, I'm gonna see what other color shift I have over here. I have a few of them. Let's go with this little pink color. So as you learn more about yourself through human design, you end up having this layered information about how to make decisions and also about how your energy flows. And that the distinction between those two, for me, understanding how my energy is designed to move and flow and how it works when I'm with other people and I connect in with other people's energy was very, very helpful to me as a creative, because it lets me know, like, I don't walk around going, hey, can I have your birth data so I can pull your human design chart? But when I really want to work with a person, I do ask them that. I go, hey, do you mind if I pull your chart? And by that time, the person already knows me. They know how woo-woo I am. They know that I work with systems, and those systems often translate into things like astrology, human design, tarot, Enneagram, so on and so forth. Oh, that's a nice overprint there. Let's see if we're going to get anything, because this paint is so light colored, we might not. All right, friends. Yeah, that's so light, you can barely see anything. I'm going to print on it again with a darker color and just see how that, in fact, I think what I'm going to do, let's roll out this red. All right, so human design, last couple things I'll say about it, because I can't do it justice here in a short amount of time. Not possible. Hold please, friends. 1 second. Hey, lovelies. Sorry about that. Doorbell. I've let that dry. I knew that was going to happen. I've let that dry. I'm just going to put my fingerprints all in that. Okay. I know that I was also saying some stuff about human design, but I don't remember in this moment where I was. All right, let me get my bearings because that just threw me off being pulled out that way. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take, I've got paint there drying quickly, rapidly, as it does. I want to put some paint on this, a different color. Let's go with this bold yellow. Excuse me. I'm winded from trying to run to the door and run back. Let's see. Paper. All right, I'm going to use this paper to ink up my brayer. It still has ink on it. I'm telling you that color shift ink, it stays wet for a very long time. So, all right, try to ink up some yellow on here. It's going to be a muddy mess, but you know, sometimes life is a muddy mess. So I'm going to take that with yellow paint on it. The yellow paint didn't transfer, but it actually helped pick up some color. I'll take that. I'll take that. Let's do that again. Get a little more yellow. Put it on this texture plate. I'm working really fast right now, and I don't know why I feel like I got a jolt of energy. So it's definitely pulling up paint, which I'm digging. And it's just doing, I mean, this is, to me, this is like the beauty of having a gel print session with yourself, is you just go in all kinds of directions. I could also stay here for hours doing this. Like literally, I have to make myself stop. Okay, last but not least, let's put a little bit of what's the color I've used? Let's put one more coat of something on top of this paint that's kind of dried out. So the last thing I'll say, probably not the last thing if I'm being honest, about human design is going to segue me into talking a little bit about, using the last little bit of time here to talk about happiness in the 12 radical intentions. So human design, when used, I'm going to say the word properly, meaning not used to incite fear in people, not used to like try to say, the only way you're ever going to understand your human design is to talk to me and pay me and come to me every single moment for the rest of your life. I don't believe in that. Like I said, I'm quite happy giving people 2 things to look at for a whole year in human design. And I trust that just looking at those 2 things will be enough to move the needle in your life, right? So you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a thing where you have to keep coming back to me. But, you know, I tend to work with people who like to go deep, who like to go far, who want to do the work. And so we do end up working together longer. However, I personally believe, and my experience with human design at this point has been, that if you are willing to do the work, to understand yourself through that system, you will, the reward on the other side of the work is a greater level, a greater capacity even for sustained happiness. Not just moments here or there of happiness, but true sustained happiness. Meaning, you are going to, you will have the opportunity to, once you start to know yourself better, you basically give yourself the opportunity to live a happier life, to be a more authentic version of yourselves, which of course, who isn't more happier when they're more authentic, right? But in that authenticity, you also get a greater, a greater sense of sustainable happiness. So the way Damon and I talk about our framework is that there's a spectrum when it comes to happiness, right? And on that spectrum, on one end, you have what some people would refer to or call or name depression, sadness, grief, being in a place of not even being able to be consoled in any way, right? You're just on that end of the spectrum where happiness does not live. On the other end of the spectrum, all the way on the other side, is unimaginable happiness. The kind of happiness you get when a one-time kind of event happens and it reminds you of your power, of your truth, of your worth, and you're taken aback. It's awe. It's full of awe and wonder. It is like breathtaking, right? Me going to the Grand Canyon for the first time was like that. It was like I was like, whoa, this place is over the top amazing. And it took my breath away. Same with Niagara Falls. And that may not be your definition of unimaginable happiness, but what I felt in those moments, being there at Niagara Falls, me, Damon, my mom, and experiencing all of that at once, my heart was bursting with joy in so many ways. That amount of joy and happiness isn't really sustainable, right? It's the kind of thing that happens in moments. And you can bring that memory back home with you and all the things. But the reality is, I don't know that the human nervous system is designed to stay at that level of wonder and awe and heart-bursting energy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Right? So that end of the spectrum with the unimaginable happiness is what we say is on that other end. And then, all right, I'm going to start wrapping this up with some Payne's Gray. And some other little things I want to do. And so with that, knowing that, right, that there's this spectrum, what's firmly in the middle of those two things, depression on one end and complete, utter despair on, that's one end. And on the other end is this unimaginable happiness. In the middle of those two things, firmly planted, is what we refer to as sustainable happiness. It's the kind of happiness that is sustainable by a regular, everyday human, right? We can get up and we can choose. And oftentimes, sustainable happiness is a choice, right? It's something you have to identify for yourself. And then every day, you kind of have to choose it over and over again. This is a little kid's plastic comb I'm going to use to make some little fine lines there. And then why don't we bring back some circles? And I'm going to overprint on one that was pink. And so human design is one of the many tools that we use to help people start to recalibrate their system to what sustainable happiness looks like and feels like for them. It's different for every person. You start by identifying what that looks like for you. And so a lot of the work that we do is about helping people begin to define for themselves what happiness looks like. And our framework has more than happiness attached to it, but happiness is the goal. It's the thing sitting at the center of our framework. And so human design is one of the many tools we use to help people get that clarity for themselves and to begin to define it for themselves. We also use yoga and chanting, Vedic chanting specifically, and chanting the Yoga Sutras. Those are my husband's departments. We use journaling. We use art and creativity. We use astrology, tarot, and like I said, human design. Archetypal studies is where the tarot part comes in. We're really working with the archetypes of tarot. And so that work for us, that's our life. That is our life's work. I mean, that is really what we have been, everything we've been doing, all the training and all the certifications we've gotten since we were young are all in service of that, of this work that we do now. We couldn't have seen that when we were in it in our 20s and 30s. We didn't know that this is what we would be doing when we went and got our yoga certification in 2006, 7, somewhere around there. We just knew that we felt this pull, this tug we could not say no to. And so we didn't. We did it. We did the thing that we were being pulled and tugged to do. And so when I found human design personally in my life, so my type in human design is a pure generator. And generators in human design system. Oh, I love this so much. It's usually this prints that I get at the very end of my printing session when I say, oh, I'm about to start wrapping up. They're usually the ones I love the most. They're like the right amount of paint, the right amount of texture. It's crazy pants how that happens. Okay, I feel a need to do one more. Keep doing a few more here. My paint's great. Goodness gracious, what was I saying? I totally lost my train of thought. that's just, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see if that's enough paint to do what I want. Now I'm using texture plates. Y'all could use rubber stamps, whatever you got over there. I'm gonna overprint on this pink, 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 these pink dots. Goodness gracious, I lost my train of thought, y'all. Hold on, let's see if I can bring it back. Sustainable happiness, the framework, all the work that we do. This is our life's work, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's yum. That's yummy. All right, I'm going to shift from doing pulls to looking at some of the prints that I have pulled. I'm looking at what I might do with these pulls. Darn it, darn it, darn it. Hold, I said that prematurely, didn't I? I did. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to bring out, because I put those paints back already, so I'm just going to, oh, you know what? What do I have here with a big, let's use this. So this is a paint marker that I'm going right onto the jelly plate with. Sorry, I got quiet because I need to concentrate. Apparently it takes concentration to draw wonky circles and dots. Okay. Oh, yes. Did anybody just get like all the feels when you saw that happen? Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. Yes, I could have very easily just taken that pen and drawn right onto this, but there's something magical about that, about doing it that way. I don't know. I can't explain it. Okay. This is Nova color paint. I just grabbed it because I have these out on my table at all times. And I already put those other ones on the little cart there, so this feels easy to just grab. Damon said the fun work is in cultivating optimal conditions conducive to happiness. Yeah, that part. And I know I'm talking about it, and some of you might be like, wow, that work sounds so serious. We try to make it fun. We try to keep it really fun for folks because it can be very serious work to find out that you've been living your entire life out of alignment. It can feel hard and heavy to be like, wow, this is why I keep making these same choices in my life and I keep getting these same results. I got to do something different. And that work can feel heavy. So we do try to lighten it up with creativity, with community, with lots of other things that make the work a little easier to do. It's easier to do hard work in community, I think, personally, than it is to do it, on your own, to see what other people are also struggling, suffering, having the same pitfalls as you, making some of the same choices over and over again, so on and so forth. I know where I was when I lost my train of thought. Haha. I was talking about being a generator, a pure generator. And generators are here. We are designed. We're the ones here to build this world. Not individually, Like, you as a generator don't need to build the world on your own. The whole point is learning, for a generator, learning the right work to do. We're here to build the world by finding, we're here to help build the world by finding the right work to do. And the way we find the right work to do is we use our human design, our astrology. We look at our lived experiences. There's lots of, things that we do to do that, to get to that point. I'm going to use this because this was my favorite of the whole printing session. I'll print that over this one. And so as a generator, when I look at my human design, I mean, the work that I'm here to do, in a nutshell, is really about helping other people live into their fullest potential and figure out who they are as an individual in this great big world. In the great big sea of we, figuring out what it means to be a me, right? For you to be you, me to be me, is actually a really beautiful thing. I'm going to find something I can print this on that is already printed over this backwards grit store. And so that to me is what the beauty of human design. It brings together all of these other systems that I already love and work with. It's a multi-layered system, but it really is designed to help you live into your fullest potential. Oh, I love how that added a sort of shine to that. All right, friends, I really am. I'm going to take these ones that didn't print so well. I'm going to do some overprinting on them. And then I'm going to call it done. I just want to gather up which ones those are. That seems like a little hot mess there. So once you know how your energy is designed, how you are designed to operate on an energetic level, you have a choice. You don't have to do you don't have to change a darn thing. You can keep saying, you can go, you know what? My life is just fine the way it is. I don't want to change a darn thing. Nobody's going to judge you for that. I'm definitely not going to judge you for that. And hopefully you won't judge yourself for that. But there's benefit to being willing to make change. All right, I'm not going to go get other paint. I'm going to use paint that is already over here in my little stash of Nova paints. This one is their yellow ochre. Just rolling off that extra color there. Yeah, I got that's way too much paint, Kyla. Come on. You know better. Yeah, no, and this is the thing, right? You have to get to know the paints you're working with, because every paint is gonna behave differently on these gel plates. Every single paint will behave differently. All right, that's a little better. Not so much. I feel like my little brayer needs some WD-40. You think? Let's bring Tiff's stencil back up. So once you get the information, and this is true, this is what I say to my astrology clients and students as well. Like once I give you your information or you get your information, you do with it what you want to do with it. It's yours. You don't have to change a darn thing about your life and who you are. You can continue to live your life the way you've been living it if you're happy with it. Don't change anything. But when you're not happy and you have something saying to you, here's how to get happier, why would you not use that? Why would you not take that and run all the way to the finish line with it? Okay, I think that one needs one more layer of something on it. Oh yeah. This is their transparent red oxide, iron oxide. I love this color. So when I learned about my human design type, there was a friend of mine who kept trying to tell me about human design. And I was like, girl, I don't want to know anything. This is too much. It's too complicated. It's a lot of pieces and parts. And no, thank you. I really said that to her. Like, maybe not verbatim, but darn close, almost word for word. Okay. I was like, this seems like a lot of work, what you're showing me here. And let's see. Let's try some of this. But she kept bringing it back. We would go to lunch together, and she would bring her little book to lunch about human design. And then we'd be talking on the phone about something, and she'd be like, "Oh wait, let me look at my human design book and tell you da 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 da." I'm like, "Oh my God, you with the human design over and over." And then something happened. Oh, we moved, and she called me and was like, "Oh my God, Kyla, I know you don't really do the whole human design thing, but I have to tell you this." Because I was sharing with her why we were moving. I was like, and I just felt in my gut, it was like the right thing. I just felt this deep yes. And so she was like, please let me pull your human design chart. So I acquiesced. I mean, this was after months of her begging me. And I said, okay, fine, pull it, whatever. So once we moved, sorry, I'm looking for another color. Oh, let's do this. Oh, no, not that. Let's just go back to chromium oxide green. So she reaches out to me and she goes, remember how you said it was just like you could feel it and you just knew it was right in your gut? And I was like, yeah. She's like, that's because you're a generator, and you're the way you make decisions is through your sacral. And and then she just started giving me all this information that at the time felt very random, very nebulous. I was like, okay, but it piqued my curiosity. And for me, that's all that has to happen. Once my curiosity is piqued, I'm there. And so I haven't looked back since. I messaged her. I said, all right, tell me how to pull my human design chart. Tell me what to do. Tell me what I'm looking at. And so we spent like 3 hours on the phone together with her, talking me through things and showing me stuff. And yeah, I went down the rabbit hole all the way. I went all the way down that rabbit hole. And I have not looked back. The rest is history. And I don't regret a single ounce of my time and attention that I have given to it. It has been life-changing. It has helped me in situations that I can't even describe. It has recalibrated me to my purpose and my path. And so whenever something comes into my reality now, I run it through all my human design filters. I'm like, is this right for me? Do I want to do, like, I do all the things and I pay attention. And up to this point, it has not failed me. I'm digging that. Okay. I got a couple more here that I want to overprint onto because I just like I don't like where they are now, and I want to put something on them that I feel good about and like. And usually for me, that's bubble wrap. It's my favorite darn thing to use, but also another little thing that I love to do. Oh, I'm getting stuff everywhere over here. I didn't realize it. Oopsie. Another thing I love to do is just put down bits of paper, almost like using them as masks. And then you end up with some good yummy bits. I didn't follow my own rule of thumb right there. Leave a little bit hanging off the edge. So you can pull it off. Let's see what we get here. All right, so I don't know if y'all, those of you who are still here live with me, hello. If you have questions about human design, I'm happy to answer. One of my other favorites, so my favorite things to teach and talk about with human design, well, all of it really, but I really love connecting astrology and tarot. Astrology and tarot. Yes, I love doing that. Oh, I like that. That's nice. But I really love connecting astrology. Can I get my words together? Human design with astrology. I really love working with the centers, which map to the chakras. And in human design, there is a part of human design called gates, and they map to the 64 hexagrams. And I love looking at those things as well, working with the gates, working with the I Ching. And I'm by no means, I'm not an I Ching like master or anything like that. I think I'm gonna, I need a color that is, hang on. This translucent white by g.r.i.t.s. g.r.i.t.s is really good because it, well, we'll see what it does. But it's very fluid. It's very, very juicy paint. But I love it because it creates this translucency while also letting you pick up color. Let's go back to this guy. This is probably not gonna do what I want it to do. Hold on. Let me find a darker color. And I will say this, when I got my first astrology chart pulled for me in college, so that would have been in the like 1995, 96, somewhere around there, 94. I looked at it and I thought, Well, this ain't nothing but gobbledygook. What am I supposed to do with this? So see how it adds this white layer that is there but not there? It's like translucent. It has this like, yeah, I really like that. So translucent white is a really good addition. Carbon black, black pearl. I'm looking for paint gray. So when you pull, if you go and pull your human design chart and it looks like gobbledygook to you, there's lots of resources out there. And just like anything else in the world, y'all, when you Google things, please look up the source. Like, don't just decide this person knows exactly what they're talking about because they've got 1,000 and some 100,000 followers and everybody. Like, really pay attention. Like, just, yeah, there's a lot of misinformation about human design out there. A lot of people calling themselves experts that are not. And I think that's true of any system. That's not just, you're not just going to find that in human design. That's true in creativity even, right? Like, so yeah, just be mindful, be discerning, choose wisely who you're going to work with. And that's not me saying come work with me, because I'm not built for, everybody's not built to work with me, and I'm not built to work with everybody. I'm pretty discerning. That's why you don't just see me blasting it all the time. I like to work with people who are taking my classes, working with me already in other things, because that means you come to me knowing my sort of style, kind of how I navigate already. So I'm not telling you only trust me, only listen to me. I'm saying be mindful. Be mindful. Nice. All right, we got a few more here, and then I'm gonna call it done. Let's do a, yeah. Let's go to this color. All right. Any questions for me? Where's the pink? No, teacher, no pink. Yeah, I don't know. Probably putting the wrong caps on top of the wrong paints. I try to be really diligent here, but I am not always. All right, I think for this one, I'm going to do a, that's pretty saturated there. I started out doing human design readings for my book coaching clients. I used to have about 10 book coaching clients. And I think I like this one. And yeah, I mean, what they would say to me after getting their reading is like, okay, I actually know what's been holding me up from writing my book, and I now know exactly what I need to write about and where I need to start. And that, to me, that's golden. Like, come on. That just makes me feel like all of my work, time, and attention, all of my going and getting these certifications and learning and, you know, going the route of being able to help people, just makes it all worth it when people come back to me and go, yep, that was helpful. And now I know exactly where to put my time and attention in my creative life or in my life in general, right? So, okay. I'm going to let that one be enough. I'm going to do 2 more. And that will be it for today's print making session. And I get that same response from people sometimes with with astrology as well, where they just go, yep, that about sums me up. And now what do I do with that? And then we look at how to start balancing some of those energies out. Because a lot of times it turns out that it's really just that. It's energy that has been out of balance for decades. When you have out of balance energy for decades, you don't just wake up overnight and you're now all of a sudden in alignment. There's work to be done. Right? There's work to be done. All right, last one. Last one. Perfect last pull. Digging it. All right. Let's put all these bits and bobs away. And I'm going to spend the last little minutes here. Ooh, we're almost to 2 hours. Ooh. I'm going to stop at 2 hours. So I've got about less than 15 minutes. to talk about some hardcover journals. But before I do that, I'm going to hang my little brayers up and get them out of the way. Move my paints out of the way. I got paint dripping everywhere. We're just going to wipe that up like this. Does anybody else do this? Where you use your papers to wipe up clean off your oozing paint bottles? It can't just be me. All right, let's put those back. This is mark making at its finest, is it not? And then I'm going to bring this little piece over and print right onto that. Yes, cannot make it up. Love it. All right, let's look at what we got here. So my pieces that I was using for rolling onto, let's tear those. I'll tear that. Transfer that paint onto the back of that. Because why not? So I've got some good pieces started here for playing later. I'm going to turn it this way so y'all can see it a little better. I think these are going to be nice for some other things. Gives me a good start. Even if all I did was start by folding these in half and making pages, signatures for a book, right? Could totally do that. I love that little transferring over. That's going to be nice. Thank you, Angelisa. That makes me happy right there. Just that little corner. Obviously, these little marks make me happy too, because, you know, like the energy in that. Yeah, that's a good start to something. Digging this, especially digging right in here where it kind of has some of the color shift on it, the color shift paint happening. Really digging that. Anytime bubble wrap comes peeking through, joy in my heart. Okay, so that's that. Now let's look at some of the prints that I did for today. And I don't know yet what I'm going to do with these, but here, let me tell you what I'm thinking I'm going to do. We'll just do it with this one. I'm thinking I'm going to come in, probably not with scissors. In fact, let's be a little more intentional. I have one of these I use for paper and one I use for fabric. So I'm thinking that I'm probably going to come in and just trim off all the excess of these sheets, and just see what I end up with once I trim them, right? Because it's like once you trim them, then they become their own little piece of something. Right? I mean, I could then take this and start, you know, I could bring in some white paint pen and, you know, just start bringing in some doodling onto this. Like for me, this is definitely not, it could be done, but I think also have to be pretty delicate because this paper is pretty delicate. All right, so I could literally, you know, start coming in and working with some of this, making marks, you know, just start playing and seeing where it takes me. Add more paint to it. I could do all sorts of things. Not 100% dry. I can kind of feel some of the dampness on it. So I think that that's probably going to be what I end up doing, because once you kind of liberate them from this border that they have here, they look different. It's almost like a whole different, does that make sense? A completely different. Now I'm getting persnickety, y'all. See if I can't get if I can't cut in a straight line and see what I get. And because this paper is so thin, it doesn't really require a lot. Like, I don't have to put a lot of force on it. All right, but see now, when it's free from all that extra white space, it becomes its own little thing there. All right. I know a couple of you had asked about human design the other day. Did you pull your charts? I'm curious. Because there's generators, there's manifesting generators. Also here to build the world. Oh, that's what I was saying. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to go back to what I remember when I said I lost my train of thought. Let me go back. I found the train. I found it. So as a generator, here to help build the world. But the way I do that authentically is by finding the work that is the right work for me. And I feel really lucky to say I have found that work. I know exactly the work that I'm here to do. And I know it through learning these systems, working with these systems, working with archetype, working with archetypes, doing shadow work, working with, I'm not even going to try to keep that part, working with, working with human design, working with astrology, soul collage, yoga, chanting, all the things. This is how I've come to know and understand myself on a deeper level that makes me also know and understand exactly what I'm here to do. So as a generator, I feel like I am, at least for that part of my life, that I am walking in my truth. So I'm loving these little pieces that I'm getting here I don't know right now what I'm going to do with them, but they are feeling pretty amazing. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me cut all of these out, but I will just plop some of these down so you can see. But again, if you notice, like this was the one where I did some of that white translucent, and I don't know if it's translating a little bit on the camera here, but you can kind of see, and it's that subtle hint, the pops, that texture plate that I used there. It's that stuff that, like, you can't really, the jelly plate is one of the only ways to really get all of those layers. Like, there are layers in here from 3 pulls before this one that I would never have been able to really like get. This one doesn't have a lot going on, but it has a lot of potential for what it can be once I get it onto something. Digging that, all the different bits and pieces I have in there, even from this teardrop stencil in the background being pulled up from a previous pull. Right, so sometimes it's super subtle and you can't always see it. Sometimes it's like glaring and blaring. Blaring and glaring. Glaring you in the face, staring you in the face, all the things. So I feel pretty good about these because they're on tissue paper, they're going to melt into the background of anything I use them for in terms of collage as well. Oh, I'm really loving that. It has a very Aztec-y kind of look right there. Digging it. I can see the color shifting in this. Even as I rub my finger over, I can see it. So cool. I love that. Gift yourself some color shifting ink. Thank me later. Like, I can even see myself cutting this out and adhering it to something else because that color's gonna, the tissue paper itself is gonna like melt into the background of whatever I end up using. Huh. Almost felt like it was raised there. I love how this one gave me a double-sided kind of situation here, using those paint pens. Yeah, I did a lot. I did a lot of these. And these aren't even the ones from yesterday combined with them. I don't even know what I did with the ones from yesterday, if I'm being honest. I'll have to go find the ones from yesterday, but these are all from today. That was a lot in that short amount of time. Well, what I consider to be a short amount of time. Some of you might be like, Kyla, you have been talking forever. We've got this little runoff paper. And again, with these runoff papers, like, they can even be torn and collaged, but also you can use the other ones to collage on top of these. So I feel like that's a lot in one session. Really loving. Can you all see the subtleness of that in the background? Like, just beautiful. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. All right, friends, I'm going to call that done because I am like seconds away from hitting the 2-hour mark, and I said I was going to stop going to 2 hours. And also, I love being able to just be here, ramble on, muse about the things that I love and care about. Didn't get to talk a lot about hardcover journals, but I've shown you a few since we've been here. I think I will, right at 2 hours there. Just hit that 2-hour mark. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be on letter I, and I'm going to be talking about intentions, which is a big part of our framework as well. The 12 radical intentions framework that Damien and I have been working with for these years. I'll be talking about intuition, intuitive painting, and most importantly tomorrow, y'all, I'm going to be talking about fountain pen inks in general. I'm going to bring out some non-fountain pen inks, but I'm mostly going to be talking about fountain pen inks. So inks for letter I. I also am happy to answer any questions tomorrow about human design if you all have them. I feel like I can't really do it justice in this moment other than to say, if you work with somebody who really is dedicated to helping you be more empowered with that system, it actually really can take you a long way. So I hope that when I share with you all the intro to human design for creatives, when I share that class with you, I hope you'll jump in there, be a part of that community, and begin to learn how to live more authentically, how to be more in alignment with your energy and how your energy is designed to work, and ultimately how to get yourself to sustainable, everyday happiness. I love y'all. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow if you can make it in. Bye.